of the opening announcements. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat.
If you will all take your seats, we're going to start on page 10 of Mishkan Tefillah. Ha. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is!
How good it is!
How sweet it is!
How sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is!
How good it is!
How sweet it is!
How sweet it is
to be together on this day. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. How good it is!
How good it is!
How sweet it is!
How sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is!
How good it is!
How sweet it is!
How sweet it is
to be together on this day. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Welcome.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi.
Thank you. I want to ask people in the room, just turn around and wave to the folks who are watching from home. It's up there, okay? Right up there, the camera. We really appreciate you being part of our community. Thank you so much. I would also like to ask everybody, just take a moment to check in with the people around you, swap names, just find out how their week's gone briefly. Just start the conversation. Do that now. We're going to turn to page 2 in our prayer books, and I'm going to meet Andy and Chuck Elkins down here for lighting of the Shabbat candles. All right, Elkinses. What am I, chopped liver? Come on, people. We got Shabbos to bring in.
I know nothing. Grab a book.
People are coming to your aid. You're fine.
Welcome to the Kolami Comedy Show, playing every Friday night.
Here we are. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
But shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our day, be among those who kindle light.
All right.
Stand back.
You're going to hold my hand. Hold my hand.
Okay.
Just hold on to mine.
Okay. All right.
And then back over to you.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'adler shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We continue on page 13. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Shiru l'Adonai
So, in view of what I'm going to be sharing with you later in the service, at the end of this long week, I just want you to think of the best hug, the warmest hug that you ever experienced. Either that someone gave to you or gave to them all together. Just think of that for a moment. It's going to come in useful later. I'm not going to be calling on anyone, but I do want you to have that in your mind's eye, the best and warmest hug you ever had, when we deal with that a little bit later. Lecha Dodi is on page 20.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, ishmi'anu el miuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor haberacha, merosh mikedem nesucha. Sof maaseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki varechu miori, uri, uri, shir daberi. Kvod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. We rise for the Shabbat bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam v'simcha u'v'tzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Please be seated. We continue on page 22, the bottom paragraph. I want to hear ay, 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 ay.
Tzadik ata mar yifrach, ke'eretz balvanon yizke. Ay, ay, ay. Tzadik ata mar yifrach, ke'eretz balvanon yizke.
שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפיחו. שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו.
צדיק אתה מר יפרח, כארץ בלבנון יזכה. איי, איי, איי. צדיק אתה מר יפרח, כארץ בלבנון יזכה יזכה. עוד ינובון בשיבה, דשנים ורעננים יהיו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני, צורי ולא עוולת בו. צדיק כתמר יפרח, כארץ בלבנון יזכה יזכה. צדיק כתמר יפרח, כארץ בלבנון יזכה יזכה.
So it's a little bit hit and miss when we're praying as to which imagery in our prayers hit home. And so we're really lucky that we live in the desert. And so when it talks about Tzadik Katama Yifrach, the righteous bloom like a date palm, then we can really see that in our mind's eye. And that part of the liturgy really comes to fruition in our minds.
We're on page 26. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
אמן.
ועלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה, יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה, שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ואמרו amen. We rise for the Baruch Hu, page 28. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Continue on 30 together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv harabim, b'chokhmah poteach sha'arim, ובתבונה משנה עתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, כולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. Baruch atah Adonai, HaMa'ariv Haravim. We say together the middle of 33. Please join in with us. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works, and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod. continue with the Ve'ahavta, either standing or sitting. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadibarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'shokbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beinenecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Amen.
We say together on 39, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh.
We're on page 42.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Hamidenu Malkeinu lechaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu
השכיבנו אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורס סוכת שלום, עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל, ועל ירושלים. Amen.
A thought has blown the marketplace away. There's a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat arrives in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night. Eternity utters a day.
Page 44. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי
לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני
את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש,
שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We didn't coordinate. I went this way, you went that way. Next time we got to think about it.
That was
Oh, symmetry.
Symmetry.
Okay, never mind.
Please rise.
Adonai שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, Elyon, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד אתה. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומרדו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה.
ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל.
ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We continue silently through page 60, either standing or sitting.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon, Adonai, המברך את עמו ישראל, מה שלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Just want to ask those who are watching at home if you could, if you want to give us a name for our healing prayer in a few moments, now would be the moment. Just throw it into the Zoom chat and we can read it from here. We do want to add the names of Carol Lifton and Marilyn Novak to the healing list. We already have some names from the online part of our community. Albert Abzug, Bunny Benstock, Rebecca van der Kloot. Is there anybody in the room who wants to add a name, someone who could use an extra support and help? Thank you. Thank you. Andy? Thank you. Selma? Thank you.
The Weller family.
Thank you.
Our healing prayer is on page 253. Sitting or standing?
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. מי שברך אמותינו מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Please be seated. So, although I'm a bit of an uptight Englishman, when it's I'm actually quite fond of a hug when it comes to friends and family, and there's really nothing quite as comforting or life-affirming as a good hug. My son Elijah, you should know, is an excellent hugger. He hands them out like confetti, although he reserves them for people that he knows pretty well. So don't just go invading his personal space, okay, when you see him next time. There are different kinds of hugs. The quick squeeze with an equally quick tap on the back to let the other person know you're already moving on. The side hug, usually between macho sportsmen who are not so comfortable with physical contact of that sort. And the hug with a small child, where the hugger lifts the huggee clean into the air off their feet. And finally, the kind of hug that my son Elijah offers. Head on shoulder, big squeeze, unclear when it's over, such is its duration. It's a great hug. You come out of it transformed, ready for whatever the world throws at you. And that moment, that kind of hug, there's not really any separation between you and the person hugging you. You are one. I wish for all of you listening here today that you have someone in your life that can offer you the same. Which brings me to the Hebrew word dveikut. It's not the Hebrew word for hugging. A hug in Hebrew is literally the word chibuk. But maybe I need to explain it in the following terms with regard to Hebrew. One of the things I love about the language is that there are many words which have sacred and profane meanings, highfalutin, holy meanings, and then down-to-earth ones. I'll give you a few examples. In the famous story of the prophet Ezekiel, a fiery chariot comes out of heaven, and there's flashing material all around the chariot. The flashing material is chashmal. But chashmal in modern Hebrew just means electricity. So it's taken the sacred meaning and used in a mundane way. In the Talmud, Rabbi Ben Bagbag says, turn it, for everything is in it. The word for turn it is hafoch. But in modern Hebrew, cafe hafuch is cappuccino, because it's coffee that's been turned upside down. In some places, the well-known Hebrew word kiseh, what does that mean? Chair. Right? It can actually mean toilet, okay? But in particular moments and in sacred texts, it can mean the throne of God's glory. Just depends which way you look at Hebrew. So it brings me back to the word I want to focus on today, dveikut. So in devek, in modern Hebrew, actually means glue. But if you want to stick something to something else, you use devek, glue. It's simple enough. Or so you would think. But the idea of sticking or cleaving to something is actually deeper once you examine it. So from Hasidic Judaism, there's a key teaching about this word. Dveikut, derived from the word devek, glue, means cleaving, in the original form, cleaving to God. The following parable explains this from the Hasidic teachers. So there was once a great and wise king who magically created the illusion of walls and towers and gates in an imaginary palace. He commanded his people to come to him by way of that palace, the gates and the towers, and had treasures from the royal treasury displayed at every gate. So there were some that went as far as the first gate and took some of the treasures and then went, and others proceeded to deeper and more central gates and towers within the palace, closer to the king, but none actually reached the king. At last, the king's daughter made a great effort to go to her father, and she saw there was actually no barrier separating her from her father. It's actually an illusion. So think of someone in your life who you believe is totally different from you, who thinks differently, acts differently, seems to have a different ideology. This person might even be someone with whom you disagree frequently, who winds you up even, who, according to your experiences, just sees the world differently to you. So if everybody's thinking of that person, Judaism, the ideology of dveikut, says you have more in common with that person than you might actually think. That at the very least, you do indeed have a shared humanity, and that any anger you might have towards that person could actually be transformed into a sense of connection if you truly understood who they are, and if you truly understood why they are the way they are. So the idea of dveikut, cleaving, sticking to something else, making you and them one, implies that while there seems to be lots of division in the world, there's just surface perception. In reality, the deep framework of reality, everything is unified. Absolutely nothing which separates us from the divine or indeed each other. Everything is one. So for those of you who believe in some kind of divine presence, I know it's not all of us, when you cleave to the divine presence, you don't just get a more intimate knowledge of God, you become an expression of God in the world. You are part of God. So if I could just choose 3 or 4 ideas about Judaism I'd love to spread everywhere around the world, Dveikut, that's one of them. The end of last week's portion, we hear the words, Lalechet b'chol derachav, uladov kovo, to walk in God's ways and cleave to God. It's like giving God a hug. In the middle of this week's portion, we're told, you should observe God's commandments, listen to God's voice, serve God, uvo tibakun, and cleave to God. It's the same verb used both times, dveikut. Cleaving to God, there's nothing between you and God, no separation between you whatsoever. So, if this idea only worked for humans cleaving to God, it would have limited mileage because not everyone believes in God. What's at the heart of the idea is the assumption that regardless of political or religious affiliation, regardless of who we love, and regardless of our background, regardless of where we live, division is actually only an illusion. It's a palace of illusion. It only exists because we want it to exist. We've got more in common with other people than we think. We're connected more deeply than we think. So the Hasidic masters found Dveikut, cleaving to God in prayer. One of them said, a person should be so absorbed in prayer, they're no longer aware of their own self. There is nothing for them but the flow of life. All their thoughts are with God. The person who still knows how intensely they're praying, this Hasidic teacher said, has not yet overcome the bonds of self. So there's nothing for them but the flow of life. Now, not everyone has that during prayer, right? There's lots of things that have happened to us this week which cause distractions, right? We can't be so intently, all of us, concentrated on our prayer that there's nothing for us but the flow of life and there's nothing between us and God. It's actually really hard. But when you're really comfortable in a situation, when the thing you're doing is second nature, when you're doing it intensively and intensely, immersed in a sport or reading a book, studying a beautiful text, walking in a beautiful location, holding those precious to you in a loving embrace, a hug, whether human or animal, the division between you and them, between you and the divine, between you and the flow of life doesn't actually exist. So do not believe, I'm begging you, all right? Listen to me, right? If you take nothing else from my sermon, then listen to these next words. Don't believe those who want to create division between us. Devik is glue in modern parlance. But in deeper Jewish terms, the Dveikut is cleaving to someone or something else to the point there's nothing between you and them. And so when we see that truly the deep framework of reality, all of us are unified, all of us are one, we are hugging everything and everything is hugging us. Shabbat Shalom. So there's a great thing in our service right now. The second Shabbat of every month actually is a celebration of birthdays and anniversaries. So I want anyone who's here today or at home who's celebrating a birthday or anniversary, rise physically or spiritually so that we can acknowledge you and give you a special blessing. All right. We've got people in the room. We've got people watching at home. Right? I know Roberta's birthday's coming up really soon. Wonderful. Eternal God, source of all life, may you bestow on these wonderful people many, many more happy days of birthdays and anniversaries. May you always be surrounded by friends and family, those that love you and that you care for them. May you have health and happiness and enjoy every single moment in the sun. And may we, all of our community, give special thanks for you bringing cake into our lives. At the Kiddush afterwards, and let us say, Amen. We'll sing the Shechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Watching on Zoom, you want to give us the name of a loved one who you're thinking of for Kaddish, now would be the time. We're on page 282 for Aleinu. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated for just a moment before Kaddish. Like to meet anyone down at the bottom of the stairs who is thinking of a loved one for Kaddish this Shabbat, wants to take one of these stones in their hand, weigh it carefully as they think of their beloved, place it on the table. Now would be the moment. Please come forward if you'd like to do that. think of those who died or were laid to rest this past week. Mildred Weller, wife of Edward, sister of Donald, mother of Louise and Janine, grandmother of Alison, Zachary and Jordan, and great-grandmother to 4 great-grandchildren. Sharon Baskin, friend of Nancy Robertson, Leslie and Rosalie Gary, parents of Risa Rubin. And those who died in the past month, Joel Long, Donna Hutchinson, Sana Stassel, David Kukla, Dennis Chinich, and Jerry Kramer, and those whose yahrzeits are being observed this week. Robert Ablin, Harriet Abzug, Cheryl Alfu, Helen Birdman, Rhoda Braun, Stanley Christopherson, Morley Max Cooper, Leslie Courtney, Alan Daniels, Abe Eisenberg, Francis Feldman, Emily May Felsman, Mo Fishman, Margot Friedman, Justine Goldfarb, Anna Gordon, Rhoda Heimerdinger, Carl Hirsch, Merrill Holpert, Joe Calpin, Sam Kaplan, Eleanor Landau, Morton A. Langsfeld Jr., Leonard Leigner, James Martin, Max Matlick, Nicole O'Donnell Levine, Bonnie Polis, Irene Rainbow, Morton Robbins, Louis Rosenkrantz, Ida Rubin, George Rubenstein, Sol Schiffman, Charlie Schaefer, Hyman Shapiro, Dora Silverman, Lorraine Teller, Frederick Teller, Samuel Tomarkin, William Walker, Doris Weiner, and Mina Weiss. If there's anyone in the room who didn't hear their name, the beloved mention, now would be the time, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Anyone I missed? Okay. Would everyone please rise to support the mourners, as we say on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ba'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shemei Rabbah mavarach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ah v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitada v'yitaleh v'yitalal. Shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'miran ba'alma v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Ve'imru, 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 amen. Ve'imru, 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 amen.
I just need to explain one thing, introduce one person. So Rabbi Danny Price, just stick your hand up there. So, okay, so everyone can see Rabbi Danny Price. This year, Rabbi Price is going to be our rabbi in residence, which means he's going to give us some rabbinic support, couple of services a month, couple of Torah studies a month. That's what he's going to be doing, helping us with High Holy Days. This is for your benefit, really, Danny. What he won't be doing, right, which is also important, he won't be on call for pastoral visits and that kind of thing. You can't just call him any time of the day or night, okay? You reserve that for us. But we really appreciate you. Did I ask your permission on that? Not even. But we really appreciate. Please introduce yourself if you don't know him already. We'll give an official welcome next Friday. But he'll be teaching tomorrow morning as part of our Saturday morning service.
Cool. So we're going to conclude with Adon Olam. Sarah is challenging you to keep up with her because it starts slow and it gets really fast. It's on page 321.
Adon Olam, Hashem alach, beterem kol Yetzir nivra, le'ed nasa, v'chefto kol, azai melech, shemo nikra. Be'acharei kifot hakol, levado yimloch nora, vehu haya, vehu hoveh, vehu yeh, betifara. Adon olam Hashem alach beterem kol yetzir nivra, le'ed nasa v'chefzo kol, azai melech shemo nikra. Ve'acharei kiflot hakol, levado yimloch nora, vehu haya vehu hoveh, vehu yeh betifara. Adon olam Hashem alach beterem kol yetzir nivra, le'ed nasa v'chefzo kol, azai melech shemo nikra. אחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה.
Next week faster. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'vratzon imchilanu זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן. לחיים.
המוציא לחם מן הארץ,
We give thanks to God for bread.
Our voices rise in song together
As our joyful prayer is said, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.